If you could live green, would you? I'm Nick Fedorov, host of Things Green, where we introduce nuggets of green lifestyle from gardening, upcycling, answering your questions, sustainability, even discussing environmental issues. You can become more confident in making the right decisions for you and your family. So come along as we are Things Green. Chances are you've seen a plant like this someplace out in the landscape, because here in Southern California in particular, it's a staple. It's a giganormous busharoonie, right? So what is it exactly? Well, it's actually called a Furcraea, but we relate this particular plant to the agave plant, and you know, the agave plant has like 400 different species, and of course, for those of you who are not teetotalers like me, they make tequila out of agave. So, but this is nothing like this at all. It's not an edible plant whatsoever, but they do, as you can tell underneath here, they get all out of hand, and you'll see how the plant gets chewed up, whether it's through gardening or just through life itself. So it's not a bad idea to prune these things up and to allow them to breathe and to do what they're supposed to do, because those leaves that are at the bottom are really taking away a lot of energy from the plant. So if we have ever not learned anything from the show before, we got to make sure that we wear our safety goggles. Now, why do I say that? Because one time here I was pruning something. Literally, it's not funny, but I actually poked my eyeball out and I had to go to the emergency, and it was just a bad thing. Now, one of the things that we'll find out about this particular plant is that it does have, this is very, very sharp right here. And that's how you can tell that it's not an agave, because agaves typically aren't as sharp. Now, I'm not saying that they're not sharp, but they definitely have those particular attributes. Anyway, a lot of people think that these are in the aloe family too. And you know, aloe is typically that one where you take and you cut it and you get burned and you put the gelatinous goopy stuff all over you. Okay, so the first thing that I want to do over here is, if I could find my tools, I don't even know what I did with them over here. I guess it doesn't matter, because I was going to use this for the whole thing. This is just a razor saw. Not very clean over here, but it's got these gnarly teeth, and these gnarly teeth are designed to actually cut on the push and the pull. But typically with a tree saw, you're always going to cut on the pull. Now, we have a couple of things that are happening over here. This is kind of encumbering it. Now, this whole thing has got to get cleaned up. So one of these days, we'll get the homeowner to jump on that. But I just wanted kind of to show you that we want to kind of open this up a little bit. And this is not necessarily the best or right cut to do with this. This happens to be a Ficus nitida. It's a very, it's a very common tree. As you can tell, it has brittle branching to it. But we'll have to take and cut this off, because I don't want to leave it all frayed out. Now what happened, boy, I didn't even know this. We've got some, look at these little flowers down here. These are lantana, and they're absolutely beautiful, beautiful flowers. But look how it's just getting all kind of messed up. Now, what we want to do is we really want to start on one side. And as we start on one side, then it's going to kind of help open it up. Now, chances are you are going to get on your hands and knees and get dirty on this. So that's just part of the game. And what we really want to do is we want to end up with the basic core of this right here. And let me just see if I can get down here and do some of this. Now, if you hear a lot of huffing and puffing, that's my own fault. I shouldn't have had that donut. I shouldn't have had a lot of donuts. Anyway, let's see if we can't cut this off right here. Now, you see, look at all the water. Look at all the water. Look at all the moisture. Look at that. Isn't that cool? That's why these are desert-like plants. These are, if I have my information correctly, these are native to the Caribbean and South America. Now, we want to try to cut this as close as possible. And if necessary, we could always come back and cut it even further. It's not a problem. Now, these lantana, I have to tell you something. Look at what's this? Somebody threw a piece of wood in here. These lantana, they smell so wonderful. When I first got into the landscaping business, I actually went to work for a wholesale nursery, Andrew's Nursery. So I went to work for Andy, and he, and it's interesting how they give you jobs. The very first job that I ever had working for him was pulling weeds. I pulled weeds like you can't imagine. You pulled weeds in the containers. That's backbreaking work. Not only did you pull weeds in the container, look how gnarly this is. See, this isn't doing any good. Look how messed up that is. Get it out of there. So we would pull the weeds, and we would look at the guys that were watering. And we're telling ourselves, man, we want to water. I got to get out there and water. That's what I want to do. So I think I pulled weeds for probably maybe 9 months. At least 9 months. I know it was more than 6 months. So we would take and we would pull these weeds, and we would want to water. So finally, I got to go on the watering detail. And so I got the watering detail, and it was amazing. But after the first hour, it was work. Oh, it was horrible. We're watering and watering and watering. And we were just hoping that when is the day gonna end, because the watering was so tough, because we were pulling around a rope, I mean the hose, you know, and at nurseries, you got a hose that's 1 inch. Most of the hoses nowadays, in fact, it could have even been bigger than that. Most of the hoses nowadays are just like 1/2 inch to 5/8. Very rare do you have a 3/4 inch hose, but regardless, it was that's the way that it was. So you're lugging around this really big hose. See a couple of these here, I'm thinking I should really get them a little close. Isn't this easy? I mean, look at this. I am hardly huffing and puffing. In fact, typically when I do some hardcore labor on the show right here, somebody is pointing out the fact that, Nick, you gotta get a little more exercise going in over there. Okay, so as far as composting is concerned, this is gonna be really tough to compost. It's very fibrous. It's kind of like a palm tree. Palm trees we don't compost because they're too fibrous, takes too long to break down. By the way, if I had a chainsaw, it'd probably get gummed up real easy, but I probably would have been finished by now. The chainsaw would have been really good for a situation like this. But look, isn't that kind of neat? Look, I'm able to get in here real tight, and it's doing what it's supposed to be doing. See, here's one that, this one just died, and this one just rotted out. This is gross. Look how gross that is. Ugh. Ooh. Okay, so for the record, as I'm doing this, look at steaks and all kinds of stuff in here. So I was here at installation time for this particular plant, and okay, so I'm going to show you something here. These were baby leaves that were growing underneath, but they're all mottled, they're all messed up. I don't want them. So this was a small plant at the time. this whole area here. It's all about maintenance. And the maintenance on this just isn't happening right now. Okay, so now I got to get to the other side. Can you see how much, does that look nicer? Let's take a look at that. What do you think? Is that looking good, Serena? You liking that? Looking a little better? Okay, I think that we have to pull some other leaves out. Now that's important to walk back and take a look at it. You know, I'm looking at these right here. This is kind of flopping down. I want it more upright so that the client can not have to worry about coming back over here. We're not getting the top of my balding head, are we? I really should be. I really should be wearing a hat. So now see how we're excuse me. Now you can see how we're opening it up. I'm able to get in here now. I'm not 100% on all fours. I'm going to be hiding behind the camera here in a second. Boy, this is really cool how this is coming out. I'm absolutely loving it. Okay, I just cut one that I have to double cut. Look at this. 1, 2, 3. You guys counting with me? Now, for the record, I'm not in the landscaping and gardening business any longer. I used to have a crew of 60, but I've had my fair share of work in this kind of stuff. Is it hard? This one is not hard. This one I'm doing pretty good at. I'm really kind of enjoying the way this is working and the way this one's coming out. Of course, we've got a very cool morning that we're doing this on, so that's helpful. This is coming out so nice. I'm so happy. I thought this was going to be so much further along. So what do you think here? We have to ask Serena this because she gets to edit. And by the way, we've been having, you probably can't see, I don't know, okay, camera dude, can you get in here real quick? I don't know if we can see this. I've got right over here, we have lizards. See the little lizard? Can we get that? Yeah, look at that guy. We've been having such an awesome amount of lizard activity over the last 2 or 3 years. And that's because of all the rain that we've had. Okay, now I'm gonna go on the other side. So because of all the rain that we've had, the lizard activity has been up like crazy. And that's been super, super nice. Okay. Let's get in here. I can't believe I'm almost finished. This is just really tickling me to no end. Not necessarily the easiest to cut right here because I'm not left-handed, but we will make do. So anyway, when you see lizards, those are your friends. You want to keep them around because they eat bugs. That's why we want them. They will not hurt you. That particular lizard, you can tell that there was a, looks like its tail broke off a little bit. But hey, let's take a further look out back. I gotta walk behind this. All right, let's see. That's looking better, huh? Whoo, I am tuckered. All right, I am going to take, and I'm gonna finish that off, and we're gonna go just a few more over here. So what do you say we do a little time lapse on this? All right, so that is cut. Whew. And that's the way we do it. And the best part is, we're here and the trash man's coming right now. So we're gonna put all this for a part of our green waste, and it's gonna be absolutely wonderful. So, you know, I'm thinking maybe 2 more. That is it. I gotta tell you, that gave me a bit of a workout, but we do have our debris hanging around inside of our trash cans over here. I did cut a little bit more away just so we could kind of see what we're looking at. Today is trash day, so they do have a recycling program, or you can cut the stuff up in little itty bitty pieces and use it for your composting. But I wanted to show something over here that I think is really kind of important. Because this was so big and sprawled out and such, we have a lot of deadwood, and what looks like deadwood, on these plants. So what we'll end up doing is kind of just go like this, pull out certain things. It'll come out easy, and then we'll just leave it alone. We're not going to worry about it, because eventually it will come and it will grow back again. Like, you can actually cut this back down to little steps like this, and this lantana will do that. But I wanted to show you a couple of other things, especially over here. Really pretty interesting, because this is really old. Look how old this is. Look what's going on outside. This is actually dead. Oh my goodness, I didn't notice that. Okay, so there's these plants right here are definitely dead. But this is, let's see. Yep, see how that just broke like that? It's just dead. So when it breaks off like this easily, you know that nothing's going to grow back on it. But if we follow this up further, we're going to see that we do have plant growth over here. That goes the same thing for this one. This one right here gets these beautiful yellow flowers on it. At one time, it looks like it was staked up with this right here, but this is just overwhelming. This is a classic case of just the plant absolutely not being put in the right place when they were small. Should have been much more room in between the plants. So I don't know if I'm going to recommend to the owner to pull these out or to take and leave them alone. We'll decide at a later point. But this particular plant right here, I'm going to try to keep as best as possible, because this one, hands down, is something that we should have in all of our gardens. This is called a butterfly bush. Yeah, also known as the buddleia. And I gotta tell you something. There's different sizes and varieties of these plants. Some of these plants get huge. I mean, we're talking just ginormous like this. And other ones are dwarf. This is a dwarf variety. It only gets about belly button high. And the really neat thing about this is that it's a host plant for butterflies, and they love this plant to no end. There's a lot of plants, like milkweed for instance. Milkweed is a host plant where the butterflies will come and they lay the cocoons and all that. In fact, we did a butterfly show one time, and you should look it up. You should look it up. That's what you ought to do. Just type in things green and then maybe butterflies, and maybe it'll come up. But anyway, so this right here is so neat because look how vibrant these flowers are. They're just neat. And the other thing right here, it is intoxicating. The scent that comes off of these, go ahead, smell it, get real close. Ah, isn't that nice? Because if you're smelling what I'm smelling, you're gonna want to be a butterfly. Ah, this is so cool. Okay, so what we're gonna do here is that we're going to end up cleaning it up a little bit. I'll probably recommend that we kind of prop this up a little bit. Just because we got rid of all of this growth, eventually this is going to fill in. But we have to remember, this is going to grow again. It's going to get really aggressive. It's going to open up once more. So in order to salvage this plant, that's what we're going to have to do. Now, a lot of times people will take and they'll want to dig out the whole plant and move it someplace. Because this is so old over here. You can tell just by the, you actually look at it. I don't know if you can see this or not, but you can tell by how old this is and how gnarly this branching is down here. It's coming out of the ground. There's just no way for us to really say this. We could probably prop it up a little bit. And if we prop it up, maybe that's why we had that, maybe that's why they had that one 2x6 in here. But anyway, consider using these types of plants inside of your yard and garden because they're really great for pollinating. And for pollinators. Thanks for joining me on another excursion of Things Green. Our goal is to educate, inform, and entertain so you can become exposed to a green lifestyle inside and outside of the home and community, all on your terms. Join me next time right here as we help you with Things Green.
John Delmatoff Backhoe Service has been serving Southern California for over 22 years and is a proud supporter of Things Green.
Being out in the yard and garden has never been so much fun. With our many playful laser-cut pet, garden, and yard signs. More information at InStyleSteel.com.
For nearly 90 years, the Bonide family has provided solutions to lawn and garden pest problems. Whether it's an insecticide, weed killer, fungicide, or plant care product, Bonide products will provide you the best solution to your lawn, garden, or home pest problem.
Southland Sod Farms, creators of genuine marathon sod. Pre-grown, tall fescue grass. More information at sod.com.
DRAM has been providing gardeners with professional equipment for over 80 years. DRAM products feature 9 water patterns and are designed to nurture your plants with a shower of rain. DRAM for lawn and garden, available at garden centers near you.
And that's the way you keep your plants moist. Hi, I'm inviting you to come down to one of the free home shows where I give free garden talks. All you have to do is go to my website, thingsgreen.com, to see when the dates and the venues are at.